Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is, 6th chapter, text 15, page 286. Yujameva sadatmanam yogini yata manasa satim nirvana paramanam matsantam adhigachati. Word for word. Yunjam, practicing. Eva, as mentioned above. Sada, constantly. Amanam, body, mind, and soul. Yogi, mystic transcendentalist. Yata manasa, with a regulated mind. Satim, peace. Nirvana paramam, cessation of material existence. Mat, santam, the spiritual sky, the kingdom of God. Vigachati, does attain. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus practicing constant control of body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God, or the abode of Krishna, by cessation of material existence. Om Arginatranandasya Tranandana Slakaya Sakshu Mitam Jena Tasmei Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Danti Swapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's two purports here, two paragraphs. I'll read the first paragraph and speak on that, and then I'll read the second paragraph. First I'll read the last verse, 13 and 14 says, one should hold one's body, neck, head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus when an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Today's verse, thus practicing constant control of body, mind, activities, the mystic transcendentalist, mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God, or abode of Krishna, by cessation of material existence. Purport. The ultimate goal in practicing yoga is now clearly explained. Yoga practice is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. One who seeks an improvement in health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi. According to the Bhagavad-Gita, nor does the cessation of material existence entail one entering to the void, which is only a myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. Rather, the cessation of material existence enables one to enter into the spiritual sky, the abode of the Lord. The abode of the Lord also clearly described in the Bhagavad-Gita as a place where there is no need of sun, moon, or electricity. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self-illuminated like the sun in the material sky. The King of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and planets thereof are called Paramdam, or the superior abodes. So this is describing the activities of someone who has attained the perfection of yoga practice. It's not that one simply goes to the forest by his own endeavor and can sit down and meditate and go back to Godhead or attain the abode of the Lord. First, one must have a spiritual master. You know, Dhruva Maharaj went to sit on the lap of his father, but his stepmother objected, saying, "You're not born in my womb, so you can't sit on your father's lap." His father was overly attached to his stepmother, so he didn't object. But Dhruva Maharaj took this insult very seriously, even though he was only a 5-year-old boy. But so he went home crying to his mother. His mother told him, if you want to fulfill your desires, you have to meet the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so he said, where can I find him? He said, well, if you could find him in the forest. So Dhruva Maharaj, being only at 5 years old, he went to the forest. And the forest is a dangerous place. Even if you're not 5 years old, even if you're grown up, at nighttime, it's a dangerous, fearful place, because there's so many wild animals that can come and devour you. But Dhruva Maharaj was fearless. So he went to the forest. When he was in the forest, he met Narada Muni. And Narada Muni said, well, you're just a small boy. Why are you taking this insult to your stepmother so seriously? You should go home now. When you grow up, you can come back and forest and perform meditation. But Dhruva Maharaj was determined. He said, no, I'm determined. He wanted a kingdom better than his father, better than his grandfather, better than his great-grandfather, Lord Brahma. So Narada Muni instructed him and told him to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So then he did that. He went to the forest and performed his yoga system and attained perfection. So in all cases, if one wants to be successful in any yoga process, he has to seek out a spiritual master, Tadvidi Paripasena Sevaya, Ubhyakyanti Jagyanas Gyanastapadarshanaha. The spiritual master can impart knowledge unto you because he's seen the truth. So you have to accept someone who's an Uttama-adhikari or Madhyama-adhikari, but someone who's qualified to be a spiritual master and who can guide you and direct you in such a way that you'll be able to get free from the entanglement of the material world. Otherwise, the material world is very entangling. Akayalam or Shashvatam, Brahma Bhuvana Loka. From Brahma Loka down to the lowest planet, all places where misery and suffering take place, and repeated birth and death. So, try to understand that to stay in this material world is not the goal of life. The goal of life is not to make money, make a lot of money, and have a big car, and have a big house, and have a big family. The goal of life is to renounce everything, Varaja Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Lord Chaitanya came to teach vairagya and knowledge of those things which foster pure devotional service. So, here it says, one who seeks an improvement of health or aspires after material perfection is no yogi, according to Bhagavad-Gita. So, there's the yogis, they have to understand the Super Soul and know Krishna. They shouldn't aspire for mystic perfections or material facilities or material desires, or try to override material nature by attaining mystic powers. This all is not the purpose of yoga. In the Western countries, they have yoga studios, yoga centers, yoga teachers, but they're just they don't understand what yoga is. The word yoga means to link with the Supreme. Yoga is not meant for improvement of health or obtaining material perfection. Many yoga teachers, they don't know anything about yoga, what yoga really means, and they teach the Mayavadi philosophy at best, and they instruct their students to meditate on nothing. They should sit down quietly, close your eyes, and think of nothing. But is that possible? It's not possible, because if you're thinking of nothing, you're thinking of something. So you can't think of nothing. Here it says, nor does cessation of material existence entail one to enter into the void, which is only a myth. There's no void anywhere within the creation of God, of the Lord. So, this is what the Buddhist philosophy, nirvana, to become void or zero. And the Mayavadis also, they want to merge into the Brahman. Brahma Satya Jagat Midya. They say the material world is false and Brahman is truth. But we don't agree with that. We say the material world is not false, but it's temporary. We're here, we're in the material world. It's not false, but it's temporary. But the ultimate truth is not Brahman, not merging into Brahman. It says that when the Mayavadis merging into Brahman, their happiness is like the water contained in the hoof print of a calf. It only, compared to the Ananda one experiences in devotional service is 10 billion times greater. So people do want to merge into Brahman, but it's not a permanent situation because there's no service there, and so they end up coming back to the material world and opening hospitals and doing human welfare activities, building, digging wells, planting trees, stuff like that. So, yoga is not meant just as a gymnastic feat. Prabhupada was to Dr. Mizra's house. You can see the video, the tape, and Prabhupada was sitting there and they were doing yoga. And Prabhupada sat quietly, didn't say anything. They didn't know what yoga was. And people still don't know what yoga is. But if they read the 6th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, then they can understand how to practice yoga, what yoga is. And they always go to these yoga centers and have kirtan and give distribute prasadam and preach these people to try to make them understand what real yoga is. So sometimes they even come to Vrindavan, these yoga students, and they get an appreciation for Krishna consciousness. So there's no void anywhere. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self-illuminating. It says, Krishna says in the 15th chapter, that abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun, nor moon, nor fire, nor electricity. Once one goes there, he never comes back. So in the material world, there's no void. In this planet, scientists want everyone to believe that there's no life on any other planet. But, Sarvagataha, there's living entities everywhere. And to think that there's only life on this planet, there's no life on any other planet, that's a foolish misconception. The only thing is that according to one's karma, one enters into the material world, becomes into existence, and takes a body in a certain circumstance, certain situation. So there are innumerable universes and innumerable living entities in the material world who populate the innumerable universes. So to think there's only life on this planet and no life on any other planet is just a poor font, because they have a poor font of knowledge. And they may detect some life somewhere else, but they can't really understand with their imperfect senses. The living entity has imperfect senses. We are in illusion, we commit mistakes, and we have the cheating propensity. So they make some telescope to look in the sky, see what's there, but it's made with their imperfect senses, so they can't get a perfect picture. And because they're in illusion, Maya Prakriti Gyan, the scientists, mathematicians, the philosophers, Prabhupada says they're all rascals, because they don't know what life is meant for. They don't know anything about the universe, about the world that we live in. Even on this planet, they can't understand everything that's going on. What to speak of understanding anything about other planets. So it's all going on, it's all there, and there's no void anywhere. This is a misconception. And the want to become void is also a misconception. It says, Denosmin yata de ekomoram yavinamjara tata dehantara praptir dirastata namuyate. When boyhood, when childhood, the boyhood, the youth, the old age, the soul is transmigrating from one body to another. So, now there's no void another. The living entity is always existing in some form or another. It's not that at the time of death, it's the end of existence. Because the soul is Satchidananda, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Soul doesn't die, but the body dies. The chemicals, they say life is a combination of chemicals, but when someone dies, then if life is a combination of chemicals, then we challenge them to kindly, you just find the chemicals and put it back in the body and bring that person back to life. But they say, we're working on it, and we'll discover a way to do that. But it's only bluffing, because they can't do it. Once the soul's out of the body, they can't bring a dead body back to life, no matter how much they want to try. So the void conception is, we don't accept that, and that there's nothing after life. People want to accept there's nothing after this life, so they can live an irresponsible life and do whatever they want, and have as much sex life as they want, and take as much intoxication as they want, and try to enjoy life as much as they want, and they're not responsible for anything that happens. But it says that the stars, the sun, the moon, all the demigods are witnessing one's activities. One may have illicit sex at night in a closed room think no one will see it. But there are other living entities are witnessing these activities. So at the time of death, the soul will go to the court of Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, and he'll decide what your next body will be according to your activities in this life. So if you act in a sinful way and you're not in the mode of goodness, then you'll have to go to a hellish planet and suffer according to your karma. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Krishna says, whatever you're thinking about at the time of death, that will determine what you'll get in your next life. So the devotees in this movement, we're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This is the final exam. When you go to school, 4 years, then you have to take your final exams to pass and get your diploma. So the final exam in life is what you're going to be thinking about at the time of death. So if you practiced throughout your life to chant the holy name and follow the 4 regular principles, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, then it's a better chance that your mind will be not wander at the time of death, that you'll think of Krishna at the time of death. And Krishna says that Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvataha chakva deham pranarjanma naiti mameti suarjuna. Whoever knows me in truth does not come back again to this material world. So the spiritual world, spiritual planets are called Param Dharma, or superior abodes. So this material world is called Devidam, where the conditioned soul is in the prison house. Durga Devi is in charge of the material world. She's in charge. She's it's called a fort. Means Furga means a fort. The fort of the prison, or the prison house. The material world is like a prison, which keeps the material living entity bound up. And above this is Maheshtam, the abode of Lord Shiva. Above that is the Vaikuntha planets. And above that is Goloka, Vrindavan, or the abode of Lord Krishna. So these are different realms. It's not mythology. People may not want to believe that there's some other realms, some other abodes. But we take the authority, the Mahajana Yena Yatak Sapanta. We take the authority of the Mahajans. We take the authority of the Vedic literatures compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. We take the authority of the spiritual master, Guru Shastra Sadhu. We don't invent anything. Srila Prabhupada said that he didn't invent anything. He simply repeated the words of his spiritual master. So also we should do that. The spiritual master is like the mailman. He comes and delivers your letter. He doesn't open it to see what's inside. He just simply delivers it. So Prabhupada came to America at the age of 70 to deliver this message of Vaishnava philosophy, Sanatana Dharma, the eternal religion of the living entity. So here it says that the practicing yogi, he attains to the kingdom of God by cessation of material existence. So this is the real goal of yoga practice, not simply some gymnastic feat or some world jugglery to befool the innocent people. Prabhupada goes on to say, a consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as is clearly stated herein by the Lord himself. Machita Matpara. Matsanam, can attain real peace and can ultimately reach his supreme abode, Krishna Loka, known as Golok Vrindavan. In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated, Goloka eva nivasti akilatma bhuta. The Lord, although residing always in his abode called Golok Vrindavan, Golok is the all-pervading Brahman and localized Paramatma as well, by dint of his superior spiritual energies. Therefore, it says, therefore, no one can reach the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha, or enter the Lord's abode, Golok, Vrindavan, without the proper understanding of Krishna and his spiritual expansion, Vishnu. Therefore, a person working in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi, because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna's activities. Savaya Namaha Krishna Paravindayo. And there is also Svara Upanishad 3.8. We learn Tadeva Vidita Vati Mityu Ati. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. In words, perfection of yoga system is attainment of freedom from material existence, not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feats to befall innocent people. So at the end of this chapter, it says, Yoginam api sarvesham. Krishna is saying that of all yogis, he who abides in me is the topmost yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham matkatena atmanam. Saravam bhajate yomam same yuktatmano mataha. Of all yogis, the one with great faith, always abides in me, thinking of me within himself, renders transcendental loving service to me. He's the most intimately united with me in yoga as the highest of all. That is my opinion. So here it says the consummate yogi. Consummate means one who's complete in his yoga's practice. And he says he can reach the abode of Krishna, but he has to have a proper understanding. It says proper understanding of Krishna and his planetary expansion, Vishnu. When Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, he took birth in Mathura, but simultaneously he took birth to Mother Yasoda. He took birth to Mother Devaki in Mathura, and simultaneously he took birth to Mother Yasoda in Vrindavan, because Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan. So when when Krishna took birth, Vasudev Krishna, who's the planetary expansion of Krishna, took birth in Mathura. They were afraid that Kamsa would kill the child. So he assumed a baby form, and Vasudeva, his father, took him across Yamuna and placed him to the house of Mother Yasoda. Mother Yasoda gave birth to a girl, but she fell asleep and she didn't know whether she gave birth to a girl or a boy, and no one else knew. So Vasudeva took the Vasudeva Krishna and exchanged it for the baby girl, who's Yogamaya. or Subhadra. And then, but Krishna had taken birth simultaneously, and so when the girl was taken, Krishna then appeared, and he's the Nandananda Krishna, which never takes one step out of Vrindavan. So we get this understanding from the 10th canto of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on the birth of Lord Krishna, the advent of Lord Krishna. So Krishna never takes one step out of Vrindavan, and when Krishna appears, he appears with all his energies, multifurious energies. So Krishna is not even killing demons, it's his Vasudeva expansion that kills the demons. Although it looks like Krishna is killing demons. And Krishna doesn't have any weapons in Vrindavan. So Krishna, when Krishna left Vrindavan, he didn't leave Vrindavan, he stayed here, but his Vasudeva expansion went to Mathura and to Dwarka. And those different pastimes in different mood, it's the Aishvarya Bhav that goes to Mathura and to Dwarka, and there he has weapons, and he does kill demons. But in Vrindavan he's a coward boy, and he has his loving exchanges with his gopi friends and coward boy friends. When he never takes one step out of Vrindavan, so he's either manifest or unmanifest, but they're always thinking. The gopis showed when Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to examine the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. And they were always thinking of Krishna, although it was in separation. So Krishna had to leave Vrindavan to go to Mathura and Dwarka, because if he stayed in Vrindavan, the residents of Vrindavan would always be disturbed by demons, because the demons were coming to kill Krishna, thinking they could do that, but they could never do that. They end up getting killed themselves. And also Krishna felt that the gopis' attachment to him was becoming slack. So by leaving Vrindavan, he created a mood, Vipalambaha, a mood of separation. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, he glorified the gopis. Although he was a sannyasi, he had nothing to do with women. He said the mood of the gopis, their attachment for Krishna, that was the highest form of devotional service. So meeting Krishna and meeting Krishna in separation is the highest form of ecstatic devotional service. Although it appeared the gopis were suffering, but they were also experiencing the highest form of ecstasy. So that's a different realm. So you have the Vaikuntha planets where Mahavishnu is there, and all the residents of the Vaikuntha planets, they're in a different mood of Aishvarya Bhav, awe and reverence. But in Vrindavan there's no Aishvarya Bhav, it's all Madhurya Bhav, or sweetness. They don't know who Krishna is, but they love him all the same. They don't know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mother Yasoda, thinking that Krishna is her son, and she wants to bind her son because he's a naughty boy. This is coming up, Kartik, the Damodar Leela. So in this way, we're in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And today is the appearance day of Madhavacharya, who is the leader. He took instruction from Vyasadeva. Madhavacharya came after Vyasadeva, 2,000 years after, but he went to the Bhadrak ashram and met Vyasadeva and took instruction from him and showed him his commentary on Bhagavad-Gita, and therefore he's the next in line in our Parampara system. So he came to revitalize, establish Vaishnavism all over the world. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago to also establish Vaishnavism and establish the worship of Radha and Krishna. Before the advent of Madhavinda Puri, everyone was thinking that the worship of Lakshmi Narayan was superior to worship of Radha and Krishna. So when Lord Chaitanya was traveling in South India, he stayed for 4 months at the house of Ekanta Bhatt. But Ekanta Bhatt was under the misconception that the worship of Lakshmi Narayan was supreme. So Mahaprabhu said to him, well, why is your Lakshmi? She's a chaste, faithful to Mahavishnu. Why does she leave her husband and go to perform austerities so she can enter the rasa dance? So Ekanta Bhatt, he couldn't actually understand this, why she did that. But even though she did that, she couldn't enter the rasa dance because she wasn't qualified. She didn't attain a gopi body. She still can maintain her Aishwarya Bhav. So then Ekanta Bhatt could understand that Mahaprabhu wasn't joking with him, that he was actually explaining to him how the worship of Radha Krishna was the topmost form of worship. Even in Jaipur, they didn't agree that the worship of Radha Krishna should go on. So Vishwanath Chakravarti heard this. He was too old at that time to go to Jaipur, so he sent Baladev Vijayabhushan there, and Baladev Vijayabhushan established the fact that Radha Krishna worship was superior, and they argued that you don't have a commentary. You Gaudiya Vaishnavas don't have a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So Baladev Vijayabhushan was empowered by Krishna Venus Shakti, and in a short time he wrote a commentary, Govinda Bhashya, on Vedanta Sutra. And then they were defeated. They were, remember, Ramanuja Sampradaya. So in this way, the members of this Krishna conscious movement, we always understand that of all the abodes, that Golok Vrindavan is the highest abode. And we aspire to go there and serve Krishna in whatever our capacity may be. Of course, now we're practicing Vaidhi Bhakti, which means we follow the rules and regulations. Until one's pure, free from all material contamination, one must follow these Vaidhi or practices of devotional service, which means we have to rise early in the morning, we have to take bath, attend the Mangal Arati, chant 16 rounds every day, attend the morning program, class, Guru Puja. All these things are required for having a strong sadhana or keeping on aloof from the material energy. Daiviyesha gunamaya mamamaya dhiraya. Material energy is very strong. So if one is not careful to practice Krishna consciousness seriously, then he can be allured and be taken away from Krishna consciousness at any moment. Anyone can fall away. Even if one's on the higher level, even if one's practicing Raga Bhakti, he doesn't give up the practices of Vaidhi Bhakti, because he knows that he can also be, it may be possible to fall away, like it says Ekadasi. Everyone must follow Ekadasi. Tomorrow's Ekadasi. So in Ekadasi, we don't eat beans or grains, any kind of grains. And it says sin personified is in the grains on Ekadasi. So, but this doesn't apply to Mahaprasadam, because Mahaprasadam is spiritual, it can never be contaminated. But when Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, they were having kirtan on Ekadasi, and someone brought baskets of Jagannath Prasad, which was grain prasad. And when you get Jagannath Prasad, you're supposed to honor it immediately. So they didn't know what to do. So asked Mahaprabhu what they should do. He told them, since today's Ekadasi, you just respect it, put it aside. don't take it now. You can save it and take it tomorrow, next day. So that's the strictness. We should be strict in our sadhana, strict in our practices of devotional service. And Rupa Goswami wrote the Nectar Devotion. He gives us 64 angas, or 64 things that we should do and we shouldn't do while we're in the Vaidhi Bhakti platform. And this will keep us from falling into the pitfall of illusion, falling back into the material modes of nature and leaving Krishna consciousness. So everyone, at time of initiation, we agree to chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles. No meeting, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And to get the mercy of Krishna, Yashadeve Para Bhaktir Yashadeve Tata Guru, if you please the spiritual master, please Krishna, then all the imports of Vedic literatures are revealed to you. So here it says one must know Krishna and his expansions. So we can know those things if it's revealed to us. It says Satatam Tat, it says Tesam Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. One worships me with love and devotion, I give the intelligence to come to me. So Krishna is in everyone's heart, and the super soul is guiding living entity and gives one intelligence how to perform devotional service, how to perfect our Krishna consciousness. But we have to be patient and control the senses. Here it says that the yogi practicing control body, mind, and activities. So above, Prabhupada says over and above chanting Hare Krishna, we have to control the senses. This is very important. And also, one must practice celibacy. Whether one's in whatever ashram one may be in, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, one must practice celibacy. A grihastha has a license for sex life, but only once a month at appropriate time to beget Krishna conscious children and not otherwise. So we have the brahmachari, and you have the grihastha brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So everyone in our movement promises at the time initiate then no illicit sex. So no one's exempt from this promise. And Prabhupada said, if you don't keep your promise, then you're not a gentleman. If a gentleman makes a promise, he has to keep his promise. We know Maharaj Yudhisthira never told a lie. So when Krishna told him, you tell Ashwatthama, tell Dronacharya that Ashwatthama is dead, but wasn't true. So Yudhisthira Maharaj hesitated because he never told a lie. But then Bhima came, and there was an elephant named Ashwatthama. So Bhima killed that elephant on the spot. So then Maharaj Yudhisthira said, Ashwatthama is dead. The elephant. So, because he hesitated though, his chariot had to touch the ground, he had to see hell for momentarily. So in either case, the devotees have to be strict in their practice of Krishna consciousness and not deviate. It said we were reading about the Gajendra, the elephant, and it said if you hear this story, you won't see bad dreams. But it says if someone deviates from his practices, the spiritual master has to suffer by seeing bad dreams. So he may suffer in other ways also. Guru Krishna Prasadi by Bhakti Lata Beach, at the time of initiation, the Guru takes your karma and gives you the seed of devotional service. So if you deviate, then the Guru also has to suffer. So we made a commitment, and it's a commitment for life. The parents of the disciple, parents of the devotees aren't very happy when their children become devotees. But they think it's something they're doing that's just another phase in their life, and that they just do it for a while and then they'll do something else. But it's not like that. When we take initiation, we promise, not for a short time, but for a whole life, to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. At least we should follow the basic instructions so that we'll be able to get free from the modes of the material nature and be able to elevate ourselves to goodness, to pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. It's only when we come to Shuddha Sattva, there's three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Only from goodness, pure goodness, can one begin to practice Raganuga Bhakti, or spontaneous devotional service. So that's the goal of the devotee, that we want to enter into the spontaneous devotional service, but it can't be artificially imposed. It has to be, you have to be qualified. They started a club in Los Angeles. They called it the Gopi Baba Club. They said they only wanted to hear about Krishna's Ras Leela and Krishna's pastimes. But Prabhupada smashed that idea, said this will ruin our movement. He said first, deserve, then desire. So we can't be prematurely, we can't want to prematurely try to enter into Krishna's pastimes. But it says if you want to chant the pure name, it's the chanting Nam Aparad, and there's Namabas and Shuddha Nam. If you chant the pure name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. By chanting the pure name, then everything will be revealed to you, your identity in the spiritual world, everything you need to know about how to practice spontaneous Raganuga Bhakti. So we're very fortunate. Krishna came 5,000 years ago. He said, Sarva Dharma Prikshaja, Mamekam Saranambraja, Hamtam Sarvabhavanyo, Mokshashami Masusha. Everyone just surrender unto me. But Lord Chaitanya came 500 years ago, and he's Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nayaya. He's not different than Radha and Krishna. Although his complexion is yellow, he's Krishna, black inside. And he came to establish the Sankirtan movement. Harinam, 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 Kevalo, Kuluna Stevana, Gatu on your top. Came to introduce the Sankirtan movement and chanting the holy name of the Lord. So, since Lord Chaitanya is the Mahavanadaya, the most magnificent or most magnanimous incarnation, he didn't make any restriction. Wherever he went, he just simply introduced the chanting the whole name of every man, woman, child in the world. He said he wanted this holy name of the Lord chanted in every town and village all over the world. Sanatan Dharma, or the eternal occupation of every living being. This was the message and mood of Lord Chaitanya. And he wanted so Prabhupada went to America, established the Krishna consciousness movement, and he wanted his disciples to go all over the world, every town and village, which is possible, every town and village is possible, and to introduce the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And this way, people will come to understand that human life is not meant for sense gratification, is not meant for easy living, is not, it says in the 5th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, that there's no happiness in family life. If you ask any Grihastra if they're happy in family life, and everyone will agree, there's no happiness in family life. Family life simply entangles you more and more. You have to get so many paraphernalia, so many things, so many disturbances. Family life, it means that the husband and the father can't sleep at night, so much anxiety, so much worries. So there's no real happiness in this material world. So our idea is to renounce the material world, renounce everything, and go back home, back to Godhead. And we see this in Srimad Bhagavatam, so many cases where Maharaj Rishabdev, Maharaj Bharat, so many Prithu Maharaj, they all exemplified how to live in family life and then renounce family life at the end of life, at the fag end of life. When you get old, you should give up, retire from family life. Prabhupada said, after 50, once you retire from family life and spend the rest of his time doing bhajan, practicing, cultivating Krishna consciousness, in this way go back home, back to Godhead. So this is the perfection of yoga. Perfection of the Bhagavad-Gita is meant to teach people how that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we have to aspire to go back home, back to Godhead, to the Golok Vrindavan, and not take birth again in this material world. Does anybody have any questions or comments? The question man's here. He always asks a question. I can't understand what he says.
Hare Krishna. Yashoda Maya, when she gave birth to Yogmaya, you say she did not knew the baby whether it's boy or girl. So how this bewilderedness is that she could not understand that whether it's a girl or a boy?
Because she was sleeping. After she gave birth, she fell asleep. So she didn't actually see the baby until she woke up. So she didn't know it was a boy or girl.
And it is understood when you give a birth, actually during those days there were some ladies who used to help to give the birth to the child, and they were there and those people were not knowing that.
Anyway, it was by Yogamaya's arrangement. It was Yogamaya's arrangement. But she didn't know, and the other people didn't know, or didn't tell her. It's not explained anything more than that. So there's no need to speculate about it. That first she gave birth to the child was a girl, but the girl was exchanged for the boy, and then she accepted that Krishna was her son. So we got, with our tiny brain, understand any more about it than it's given by the commentary in Srimad Bhagavatam or the Acharyas. No need to speculate about it.
Also in Bhagavad-Gita you said Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, but in Vasudev form you say, even in Vasudev form, or when he was killing the demon, that also in Vasudev form. But in Bhagavad-Gita, it's somewhere we cannot find out where it is Vasudev form or Krishna.
If you read the Krishna book, everything's explained. How Krishna's here in his bhava expansion. It's explained there when you read it so many times. So if you read the Krishna book, it's explained how Krishna's always never takes a step out of Vrindavan. Bhagavad-Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanand.